Slurp-de-derp, it's Art1fact. Welcome to the world. I hope you've all been doing very, very well. I hope you've got your coffee. I hope you've got your pen ready to do some production learning. Today is a very exciting day because you're still alive, and it's never too late to be grateful for your life. I think it's important. Today we're going to make. Well, actually, I've been on the phone earlier to the Shadow Master, and he's made a new Neurofunk bass for us, which is really, really exciting. Basically, he's designed what is known as the Neurofunk bass formula. So, before you guys start commenting down below saying like, "Oh, Mr. Artifacts, why is this the only way you can make a Neurofunk bass now or something?" The answer is yes. There's only actually one technique to it, so we'll get straight into it. But let's quickly say thanks to the Shadow Master.
I like bananas because they're the only thing in the supermarket that hasn't doubled in price last week.
So yeah, sorry about him. He's an absolute weirdo, but he makes the basses for us, so we've got to give him some respect. So anyway, I've called this bass the Sharp Master. Let's have a little listen to the patch, and then I'm going to talk about 5 actual useful vital tips. So it's not all just jokes and stupid stuff on this channel. We will actually do some learning. But yeah, I've got 5 tips within designing a bass patch that I think are going to really help you today. So stick around. So let's have a quick little listen to the bass that I've made here. And with a little bit of extra kind of pitch grace notes as well. I mean, that's optional, but the point of today's video is I'm going to talk about the sound design of the bass and some really kind of cool things that I recently discovered. So we're going to talk about the shapes first, then we're going to talk about the FM and the randomization, then we're going to talk about the detuning, which is the most important part. And then we're going to talk about enhancing the sound and making a couple of macros as well. So just before I jump up and open Vital, if you guys are a fan of the channel, you can check out the links down below. You can like, subscribe, all that vegetable button stuff. I'm upping my tuition prices in May as well, but you can also get a nice healthy discount on my production lessons if you're in my Discord, and you can join that down below as well. I've also released a new track today called Heartless, so I hope you guys will enjoy that. You can actually download it on my website or on Bandcamp, but if you get it on my website, I don't have to pay all the silly Bandcamp fees, so it's better on there. Yes, anyway, let's jump into Vital then. So what I wanted to demonstrate was how we can use the detuning movement between the oscillators to create the whole kind of rhythm for the bass, and the specific way that it creates the rhythm is what's making the sound design, giving it that unique flavor, and then we're going to sort of exaggerate that movement. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've got 3 beautiful shapes which are all different. I've got a bit of noise, and I've got 2 juicy little filters in here. But what we're going to do is we're going to start like from the beginning. So I'm going to turn off all of our unwelcomed dinner guests, and then we're going to start just with a lovely sine wave here. It's the basis of life, and then we've got a sample going in. And sometimes the white noise is a bit too harsh, so I've got the river, and this is just ring modulating into the sine wave here, and the level's been turned down, so we're just hearing the ring modulated version. You can see I've pitched it down like slightly, -5. A little bit of randomness to the pitching is always interesting. Anyway, next we add in a square sine, I'm going to call it, right? It's basically just a sine that's been squared off a bit, and we pitch this down an extra octave, right? And we FM it from oscillator 1 now. nice sort of jungly sound already without it, but yeah, adding that in, we start to get that neuro texture already. If I just turn this unison back off, you know, that's kind of what it is. And I'm turning down the level of the first one, so we're just going to hear the output from number 2 now. Nice tone already, but now we're going to start to create the Neurofunk kind of formula movement, right? And this is going to happen from the unison, so we're going to turn that up to 3, and then we're just going to adjust the detuning to find a nice groove, right? And what I've actually done is I've played it with my drums. So obviously the different speed is going to create like a faster kind of rhythm. Like the more you detune the unison, the faster the rhythm's going to be. But the idea is to get like a nice groove using this, like kind of using your ears and trying to find like a nice amount of funk. So I found it at 18, it was really sort of a nice kind of speed. So I've left it on that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to like exaggerate this movement even further. So I'm going to open up oscillator 3 now, and just sort of on its own, it's just at -12. So you can go ahead and copy these settings if you like. And I've tuned it up to +3. These little tunings, they just make a very small difference. So this is the kind of triangle wave that we've got on this one. And now we're going to add in the FM from oscillator 2. And now we've really come into our Neurofunk wholeness selves. Yes. Yeah, you know what I mean. Or do you? Maybe not. And rather than turning down the level of this one and only having the third one, you know, I kind of lose a bit of that low mid-range power, which is what I was trying to get. So I'm actually going to keep them both in on the oscillator 2 and 3. It's just the first one that we've switched the output off. So it's kind of like we've got 2 signals blending together now. So that's like the basic shapes done. And what I wanted to also talk about is the randomization, because these little kind of movements within the parameters are already making a little bit of a difference. So I've got my random here on a really, really small amounts on the FM of both of these, and I've got it a little bit on some filters later on as well, but it's just a little bit of the FM. And I mean, I could even put one on perhaps like the fine tuning of the pitch a little bit. It's just going to make it more natural. It's the subtlety that's the key here. Yes, so let's move on next to the filters. So the main filters I've got are pretty much, well, filter 1 is the filter to end all filters, because this is the one that's going to be doing, it's going to be enhancing the mid-range of the sound. So we've got this kind of movement going already. We've got this nice sort of growl that we've made from the FM and the detuning. And now we're going to like exaggerate the specific frequency area, which is important, which to me is like between 100 and 500. So I've got it down here. It's sort of starting just below 100. And then I'm just sort of randomizing the movement around here. So if we take a little listen with this filter on. So we're shaping the sound and we're giving like precedence, is that the word? Or priority to this area in the spectrum here, the low mid-range, because that's the expressive part of the bass. So I'm sort of amplifying that, and it's, you know, it's sculpting a bit away from things next to it, which sort of draws more attention to the actual part that we're moving, you know. And yeah, I've just done it a little bit on the random. You could put this on like on an LFO or something. And yeah, I've got another little filter which is just affecting one of the oscillators, and it's just a little bit of a sort of high pass. So it's like we're kind of just taking out a bit of low end from one of them just to kind of mix the two together a bit better. But yeah, that's basically the filters, and then there's sort of one extra filter that comes on in the effects. So yeah, let's just talk about the effects as a whole. So I've got this filter here, and this is actually not activated until I turn on my macro here, which is called chop up, because it's going to start activating the LFO here. So it's just a nice way that we can cycle between like a sort of static Reese or like a filtered LFO kind of, you know, bouncing bass line. And especially if I turn up the speed, for example, here, let's go for 1/8. And if I were to play a patch and sort of modulate this parameter now, you know, and turn it up and down sort of quickly, I can get these nice little like alterations in the whole like bass line, which are very, very exciting. Yes, and then we've got a few extra effects, which is basically a little bit of chorusing. Just kind of like spreading out that signal nice and beautifully. Then we've got a bit of distortion. Just kind of saturating it together. A little bit of compression as well. What I've done on the compressor, which is important, is I've turned the attack up all the way. I've turned the release down all the way. So we're letting all the signal through at high volume. And then we're just going to mix it in very, very slightly. And it's going to add this nice high end to the sound. Then we've got a little bit of reverb just at the end. I don't believe I've had to EQ anything, but maybe we can. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a boost around 4K. Yeah, just kind of boost a little bit here and there and see what kind of works and what enhances the sound a bit further. So that's basically the effects done. We'll just talk about one more thing, which is the macros. So I mentioned already that I've got this sort of chopped up version of the sound here, but because I'm sort of chopping it up with like a low pass filter, we're essentially taking out like a lot of the frequencies. So to counteract that and make it like sort of louder again, I've also put on this macro a little bit of a boost on the distortion and a bit of a boost on the compressor, because these like make the sound a lot louder. So by turning both these guys up a tiny bit while I'm doing the filtering, I can make it so that the patch doesn't like sort of drop in volume when I turn up the filter. You know, it's sort of still relatively at the same volume now, which is good. And then on the other sort of macro here, this is the tonal one. This is just very, very simply changing the position of the little sort of mid bass, low end filter bump that we've got here. So just kind of shifts the focus up a little bit in the spectrum, and that sort of just changes the tone a little bit, and then we can sort of just play between that as well. But yeah, that's the patch. But I think what was really the key moment in making this was, you know, it was the combination of the shapes that I used and, you know, at what pitch they were at. It was a little bit of the randomization. It was getting the right FM settings. It was getting a bit of noise to start off with and then blending that into the next one. But it was most importantly using this detuning as a way to create the movement like at the same time as the sound design is already happening, and then basically just exaggerating and enhancing that movement. So what I would then go ahead and do next is, so we could sort of bounce this out. And because we've got this kind of nice movement, we don't have to stick with that exact groove though, once we've got the audio file. You know, I could very, very simply start to sort of move things around a little bit and create something new. See, that's pretty tasty already like that. Maybe then it would have to change around there. Yeah, something like that would be quite cool. Maybe let's get this little guy at the end here. And have a little gap, maybe. Yeah, see, there we go. And so simply remixed the groove a little bit, but the kind of original movement that we had was already interesting and working like with our drums. So it's just kind of using the best of both worlds there again. So yes, I hope that was a helpful tutorial for you guys today. Wish you all a lovely start to your week, and yeah, make sure you check out my new track, Heartless. You can find the links for it down below as well. I hope you guys enjoy that. It gives you a bit of motivation to smash this week and just generally eat lots of bananas. All right, peace out. Have a great day.